Hey, it's Chris, Liege of Games. Like the new lighting? I'm trying something out. I've got one of the new lights up. I gotta kind of mingle with a couple other stuff going on, so excuse my jaundiced appearing face at times, but we're gonna see how this goes on the flip side as the channel hopefully gets a little bit of an upgrade over the next couple weeks. We'll see. Now, you're obviously now tuning in to the most exciting board game segment on YouTube, the best of the year, of the week, the locks, the never wrong, Liege's over under. Just kidding. You're here for the upcoming what's actually going on next week. I mean, we'll get to the over under stuff at the end of this video, and we'll see again how poorly I did and how poor my record continues to be, while at the same time surprisingly close with a couple of them this week again, which shows you, if nothing else, my pedigree in picking interesting over-unders is second to none because, well, no one else does this. That's besides the fact. You're not supposed to know that. Okay, anyway, so what is launching upcoming next week? It's a dead week. This video is going to be relatively short from that side of things. As we say with the over-under, though, you can certainly try. Anyway, getting back to what you need to know. There's one big one. I have a copy sitting upstairs. I'm going to have a video out on Tuesday when it launches. Let's go right to it. Look, it's Harakiri Blades of Honor. It's launching on the 30th. This is the biggest one. People haven't been anticipating this. I have a copy upstairs that goes through a couple of the scenarios, a couple of the sort of mission quests things, and it gives a better overview look at what this game may entail, whether it is a macro or a micro, because you are going back and forth potentially between the overarching moving across the world versus moving within the actual hex-based battles themselves. And it's miniaturized, so there's lots of miniatures already even with my copy. This is an example of one of these grids, and this is going to be a test of the dungeon crawl because this is encapsulating now multimodal dungeon crawl effects. Not only are you having to deal with the overarching presence of the Dark Shogun and his effects on the macro map as you move from path to path and how you want to move, and if you're moving with other people or you're moving separately and you only get so many actions per turn that way, but then you're going into these quests and these battles in order to accomplish them to prevent the Shogun's influence from spreading from that side of things in more of the traditional crawl sense with this hex-based grid where you're going to be using more of said miniatures in a more tactical manner, using your passive, active, or attack abilities per turn to go against the enemies. I don't know what the price point is going to be looking like for this one. Like I said, it's miniature based, so that's going to be the big conundrum. A lot of people have been looking forward to this one, this medieval Japan theme, this Oni based theme. Onimaru. It's been almost 1100 days. Anyway, it's definitely different. There is definitely a huge mass market appeal from this thematic side of things. I mean, heck, we just saw it with Senjutsu, which I backed, by the way. Anyway, side tangent there. But this is going to be a test of the market because, again, it's something remarkably different in thematic incorporation than we've seen. Not only in the actual theme itself, but like I said, the bigger and the larger, the overgrid and sort of the under, sort of like a Final Fantasy VII, if you will, where you're traveling across the map and then you got the areas within the map that you're kind of navigating themselves. And I just don't know what to expect with this one. I could see the price point being a lot higher than people are expecting. I could see the price point depending on how many expansions they have. And again, I have no insider knowledge on that portion of things. I've been in communication with Synergic Games. They've been very responsive in the back and forth, but I just haven't really asked the pledge levels. So if I get more information on that side of things, I'll definitely let you know. But if there are a bunch of expansions with this, again, is it going to be a la Senjutsu? Because for all the good that Senjutsu did, Senjutsu also did a few things that I was definitely not a fan of. Too many modes, too many add-ons, too many different characters trying to be too much. That is the biggest concern with a game that tries to be innovative, whether it is this or the upcoming sometime, I said, probably beginning of Q2 of 2022, Senko Cushion of similar ilk. of similar thematic incorporation, but completely different mechanistically, as less of a dungeon crawl as this. And it just needs to work. Whatever you decide to do, it has to work, and it has to be attractive from a, why would I get this over something else? And why am I getting this now? Those are the two big questions on especially crowdfunding. And Harakiri has some of that in spades. The other is going to be, why do I get it now? And I don't know the answer to that one again. You know, I've seen a lot of good, really good games on Kickstarter. I'm looking at you, Role Player Adventures, but I didn't see any reason to get it on Kickstarter. There was no advantage to get it on Kickstarter, right? I mean, yes, you're going to get it like 6 months earlier, but the concept of value, people are so concerned about value. I harp on this on a routine basis. I don't want to lose money on a game, as opposed to, I want to get a game that I'm going to actually play. I don't care if I get Role Player 6 months before someone else. If it doesn't hit the shelf and I don't play it in that time, because half the people won't, what does it matter? You just paid $30 to have it sit on your shelf 6 months earlier. Who cares, man? It's a status symbol then. It's less, I actually played it and enjoyed it. And it was an awesome experience. Those two things are two different things. They can be together, but they're not always, and especially in our hobby, and especially the way things are going now, they're not. So let's just put that out there for calling a spade a spade. But that's what Harakiri has to show us. Why am I going to get Harakiri now? Why? And so, I mean, unique mechanics, unique corporations, I'm going to be talking about all of that on my video. But the question for anyone looking at it as a prospective backer in this dead zone between Thanksgiving and Christmas of, there's not really a whole lot of competition. There's only 4 games that I know of launching this week, essentially. There's not a whole lot it's going up against. Most of the other stuff that's already launched that was bigger is dying down or dead or ending well before even the midpoint of this campaign. What is going to make people invest? What? And that's what we're going to see when it launches on the 30th. It's doing things mechanistically in terms of the incorporations, the yin-yang symbols of the dice rolling, and the battling and the actions and the different passive abilities and the kami that you're going to be trying to attune to, because you can die, but then you can use their ultimate power. You get defeated no matter what at the end of your turn, but you're going to get ultimate abilities that you can sort of hope to squash the enemies before you die. There are loads of things, but the question always is, can it work, like I said before, as a whole? Individual elements are great. The Witcher was an individually elemental, great situational thing. But there were certain things that I didn't think didn't work as well. And so that's the question in a game that is trying to be so epic and so expansive. There you go. I've blabbed on enough. Next game. This one could be ultimately even more successful, because I didn't realize how much of a following Borderlands still had from the IP side of things. Speaking of IPs, I am almost doing this on a bi-monthly basis now. If you have heard me say nothing else this year of 2021, 2022 is going to be even bigger. This is the one, Liege. You've heard me say that, and I've joked around about how bad I am at predicting. I will tell you that at the end of this video. But this is the one that I am the one that's been shouting it from the rooftops for about a year or more. And I'm the only one that seems to be shouting it, and everyone else is just kind of going along with it. Video game imports are here to stay. We're going to see a lot more of them. We're going to see a lot of them. You have to choose wisely with your wallet, because otherwise we're going to see a lot of crappy ones. And we don't want to see crappy ones. We want to see really, 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 really well done ones, so that we get stuff that we're really liking and we really enjoy from another media console side of things onto the tabletop that is equivalent or better than its counterpart. And so we have to hold them to a high standard. I don't want another Dark Souls. It's not bad, but I don't want another Dark Souls. I want BSG. I want that ilk. Not, it's okay. The house ruled it. No, I don't want I want excellent. That's what stays in my collection. And if non-IP games and game companies can do it, then the ones that are getting this have even higher of an expectation, and the bar is set. This is Mr. Torg's Borderlands Arena of Badassery. So that is what's going to be launching on the 30th, allegedly, as well. There were almost 4,400 people following this on pre-launch when I saw the Kickstarter preview pre-launch page earlier today. That's a freaking ton. I see hardly anything that isn't super big name that has anywhere near that. So that is a lot, which means there's a lot of people potentially looking at this. And as you know, with big campaigns, people pile on. It becomes a bandwagon. It becomes, everyone else is getting it, I can't miss out on it. So that is what this one potentially has, and that's why you have to give it an extra second look, because occasionally then those people are right. Look, it's miniature based. That's going to be pricey. It says that there's going to be a campaign mode where you're going to level up your hunter, and you can then go off against a big bad boss machine at the end, which I believe is referring to like maybe this thing. But there is also just a one-off skirmish mode, which it doesn't speak too much of what the skirmish mode is going to look like. Is it just going to be like a free-for-all battle royale? Is it going to be like skirmish one-off against an AI, like PvP or PvE? I don't know, but this one, again, has enough intrigue. If Monster Fight Club, the company who's putting this one out, can do a great job at some of those mechanics, again, why am I going to get your skirmish game? Why am I going to get your campaign game? Is this going to be like Cthulhu May Die-esque? That would be the ideal picture of how I would picture something like a one-offer being in this game, of the level ups, the crazy weapons, the crazy abilities, the crazy everything. But I worry, again, because this is the other price point. Look at these miniatures. I mean, these look pretty big, and there look like to be a couple of them, so it kind of worries me from a price point standpoint. There's not a whole lot on the Board Game Geek page. Monster Fight Club's page has a little bit more on it, but again, there's no videos. There's only a couple pictures of a couple of the miniatures on here. And again, what's it going to be? How many enemies? They're pulling all of the stuff they say from the Borderlands universe. So if you're a fan of that IP on the console side of things, I mean, you definitely have to give this a look. Because again, what are you going to do that's unique? What are you going to stand out in the crowd of very already populated side of things when it comes to games like this? I have no idea. I worry, though, that it's going to be a semi-co-op. Please don't do semi-co-op. Semi-co-op doesn't work. Co-op or competitive. Yin or yang. Not both. Please. But supposedly launching on the 30th. The other one launching on the 30th, Formula 21 GP. Now, in the forums, they talk about this being more of a luckless or more of a Euro-style racing game, if you will. Something a little bit heavier than like Formula D. And there's a little bit of dice, they say, but it's very, very minimal in terms of like the quick sessions. You're going to be using a card-based system, though, and they talk about attacking, defending, or maneuvering. And I'm assuming attacking not in an actual literal sense, like in other racing games that I've covered in the past, you know, like an Impulse, for example. This is an actual like attacking in terms of the racing. And you can see it looks pretty tight when it actually is being played on the map here. And it says it's also, obviously, based on what you can see in the picture, modular. Now, it says 2 to 6 players, but it also says you can go solo against bots. So that, I know that's going to be appealing to a lot of people as well. Here you can get a little bit of better sense of the overview of the size of the map, what it would actually entail. And then there's up to 6 different teams that you're going to be joining and modifying these cars based on your own personal preferences and the cars that you have. Speed, tire wear, risk. Those are the 3 things that you're going to be mainly having to take into account as you go around the track and try to repair or time when you're doing certain actions. I mean, this is way too heavy of a racing game for me, but I know just like a couple of the other heavier racing games that are out there, there is a wide mass market appeal. Well, I say wide, it's not really that wide, but you know what I'm saying, for this or this ilk. And so it's going to be interesting to see what the funding looks like this for when it launches on the 30th. The 4th game, in case you were wondering, was Octopus's Garden got pushed back to the 30th, allegedly, and so it should also be potentially launching on Tuesday as well. Now, I covered this one last week a little bit, but I'll give you a quick recap in case you're wondering. 2 to 4 player tile laying game where you're coming on as starfish trying to create the best, most beautiful reef garden. It is a very beautiful looking game, but you're going to be trying in this game to attract seahorses and clownfish while trying to also keep your oysters and their pearls protected from other fish from stealing them. It reminds me a little bit of a reverse Tonari, which I played a couple years ago, which was sort of, you're picking up the tiles as you move around trying to do set collection. This is the opposite, where you're laying them down gradually and trying to set collect on your individual board better than your opponents. Why are these pearls important? Because apparently the pearls are going to be your currency which allows you to buy, said, more tiles. But you can only buy apparently from the market that is either like row or column. And you have to buy the whole row or the whole column. And so you have to choose whether or not you want to buy it or save your pearls for potentially a better, fancier, more improved row when someone else takes one in front of you. So those are the things you're trying to action and you're trying to mitigate. And we'll kind of see when it launches on the 30th what it looks like. I lied. I found one more when I was looking at my list. This is actually launching on December 1st. This is Spring and Autumn, A Story of China. Now, this is a 4X game. Intrigued? Now, I'm going to go straight to this page because I can't do this justice in terms of the description because we need to talk about this a little bit more in detail. Now, this is by Mr. B Games, and it says 800 BC China. You are going to be one of the preeminent states of that time, expanding your borders, researching advancements, building your economy, and just bringing honor upon the house of your name. You just want to be the first to establish the first dynasty of legitimate importance. And they talk about it being an expansion on the Hellenica story of Greece with new gameplay elements, philosophy, diplomacy, combat, expanded victory conditions, the Great Wall, and, as noted by the picture, Chinese dragons. So they're clearly staying very historically accurate. AI solo, and so you can see a little bit there. Now, Mr. B Games, you might not recognize that name, but you'll probably recognize a couple of their games. Perudo, Days of Ire, Budapest, Posthuman, the Hellenica that I mentioned, Helinox as well. So you've got a few more notable ones at the top there that you might recognize. I don't know any of these ones down here. I'm just scrolling for the sake of scrolling. But that's the sort of pedigree. And so this is what we're going to sort of wonder to see with this definitely unique thematic incorporation and just what does it look like again from a 4X side of things. Are people burnt out? Is there enough knowledge about this game in the first place? I have no idea. And the other big difference is that it's going to be on GameFound. And if you follow in advance, $5 discount. So let's take a look at this really quickly since I found it. Let's see. Okay, good. Fully designed, ready to go. So what does that actually mean in terms of timing? Does it give us any sort of term in when it's going to be actually like available then? I mean, it looks beautiful. Looks great. Now, miniatures, I hope that they're not included necessarily. It doesn't look like it, so maybe you can get a copy with and without, depending on how deluxe. Ooh, deluxe buildings. And that's it. So, again, no price point. Yeah, the miniatures. Wow, 215 plus 110. Holy crap, that's a lot of miniature buildings. Obviously, they're saying no plans for a retail side of things from that. This is going to be better than Hellenica, it says. Okay. Best and only chance to get this, as opposed to Hellenica when it wasn't offered anyway, because it was sold out. So there you go. Check it out if you want. Link below for the GameFound page. Hopefully they have a little bit more stuff. Only 900 people following, which again is 900 more people than any of my GameFound pages that I've created. So, but anyway, we'll see what it happens and when it launches on the 1st. So let's go to the over under. How did I do for last week? So first up, were there greater than 2 games over, what did I say, 100,000? And of the ones that launched last week that were loot, Pathfinder is the only one currently. And I pulled up Mindbug because Mindbug is sitting at 97.6 at the time of me filming this, just over about 36 hours away from this video premiering. So I have a feeling I'm going to lose this one. I have a feeling they're going to break $100,000 by the time. But you can see how good I am now at predicting these things, right? I may not get them right, but I'm giving hard ones for all 3 people that are playing along. So the second one was Mindbug. Is it going to break 75,000? Well, okay. Well, clearly did that. Clearly wrong there. The next one was Honey Buzz or Clash of Decks, which was going to end up with more backers. Again, I am really good at picking close ones. Honey Buzz, 3673, right? Clash of Decks, 3701. I think I went with Honey Buzz too. Oh, geez. But look how close that was. Like, that's insane. I'm pretty good at this. Like, I'm making good, tough ones. Vegas bet books are going to start calling me and you guys are going to have to like pay me to stay here. Anyway, the last 2 were really easy. I think I got them both right. Channel subscribers breaking 4,400. Didn't happen. Boom. Nailed it. And upcoming. Oh, wait, that's the one that got the Indian clicks. Let's see. Upcoming. Let's see. We'll go to this one and we'll go see. Like, let's click. This one, this is last week's video, has 1,700 views, so it did not break 2,000, so I was under on that one. So that means I'm potentially 2 for 5 this week. With if Mindbug doesn't break $2,400 or $2,600, whatever it was, in the next 36 hours, $2,400, then I could be 3 for 5. But you can see all of those were pretty close. None of them were terribly difficult. So again, play along at home. Let me know in the comment section. YouTube, we got it going over the Board Game Geek blog page as well, keeping a running tally. So if you guys want to join in over there, I'll throw the Board Game blog link in the description below too, so you guys can check it out over there. And one of these days we have to get one of my videos on the hotness. Like, I want to prove to people, like, a couple of you have commented, like, I can't believe you haven't blown up. I can't believe you haven't had more people. Like, no one knows about me still. I'm still this small fry. I only get responses from half the stuff. Nobody cares. And so I want to get out there. I want to just like get my name out there. I don't care about making the money. I don't care about, anything on that side of things. I want to make and have influence. I want to have like a shut up and sit down effect. I'm never going to have that, but that is what I'm going for. I want people to value my opinion. You don't have to agree with it. I just want you to value it. Okay. Anyway, off to that side tangent, let's talk about what do we got going on this week in terms of bets. Okay, let's do it. First one, who has more funding in the first week of the campaigns? Borderlands. And the reason I'm choosing these two is because they're very, very similar in terms of the amount of followers. 43.95 or Harakiri, 46.87. Who has more money? Secondly, who has more backers? Because money can often be tied up in less backers. Who's going to have more money? Who's going to have more backers after a week? Those are the first two. Next, we're going to go back with Lead your class to victory. 575,000, but 8,900 backers. Will they break 10,000 backers? 10,000 backers is the over-under on this one. What do you think? Will they do it at the very end? We're going to go next up with Resurgence. Resurgence is also ending around the same time. Both launch together, both end together. I mean, that seems to be sort of a relative trend in terms of the cookie cutter mold of Kickstarter campaigns lately. We're going to go with, I'm going to make these a little bit more difficult. Is this going to break 90,000? Is it going to break 90,000? So you're talking 150% of what you're going to see today in the last 5 days total. Will it break that? That's the over-under for Resurgence. And last but not least, we are going to go with my top pick of the ones that launched from this past week, Carreau. I'm pronouncing it wrong again, probably. Carreau. This is Bocce Ball, the board game. Gavin Birnbaum's baby, 5-year anniversary of doing it. There are 30 people backing it right now. Over or under, when this ends, we'll say 55 backers. We will say 55 backers. Will there be over or under 55 backers? My light's running out of battery in case you're wondering what the blinking is. So that's it. We'll see where this goes. So there we go, right? Blue light and everything. I'm going to mix around with the colors in the future. I got some interesting stuff going on, hopefully. I got 2 other lights to put up. I'm only using 1 of the 3 right now, plus one of my other old ones over there. So, is that it? I think so. Simon video next week. Harakiri video. Pathfinder video. Vagrant Song video. What else am I missing? Something else I'm missing. We'll figure out what it is. Just a whole bunch of that sort of thing. And especially if you guys want to see me have more of these Kickstarter stuffs, I need you guys to show me the support on those videos too. I know you guys watch more of this stuff from my channel and this is what you come here for, but those sort of things need as much or even more support to get more presence to show publishers and to show designers that, hey, you can send your game here because people are going to watch his opinion on YouTube. That'd be helpful. Thanks for those of you that are doing that. Okay. Enough sentimental stuff. Let's get into this. So, TV time. What am I watching? I'm finishing Shetland, Shetland, Shetland. Finishing season 5. Did that. I watched Hellbound, the new Korean horror drama-esque on Netflix. It's good. It's good, but it's not going to like break the bank either. It's very interesting because I see people discussing things like that and like Squid Game that I talked about that I watched like before it sort of blew up. And it's like people watching these things are like, oh, you mean these things actually have a plot? They're pretty good. Like I'm watching Arcane right now, the show set in like the League of Legends universe. And it's like one of the highest rated shows on like IMDb ever or something like that. And it's like number 8 overall or something. And it's like, yeah, it's good. It's really good. But it's like also people like rating this are like never exposed to good shows. They only watch stuff on like the main like networks like CBS and NBC, and which are trash for the most part, generic whodunits and you know, shows that you require very little thinking or thought process or paying attention to on a minute by minute, week by week basis. And so when you compare them, well, yeah, but if you actually look at the other stuff that's been out there for like the past decade or decade and a half with some of this really, really good stuff, like it's good, but is it in the pantheon of like super good? No, come on. So I just get a little irritated when people are like pretending like these new shows are all of a sudden, whoa my gosh, this is the best thing I've ever seen. Man, you need to go watch something else for once. Get outside of your comfort zone and watch something that's not NCIS. And then I found Reyka, which Reyka. It's a South African sort of police drama, and she is kidnapped in the past, and you're starting from when like the present, where she's a police officer back in South Africa, and she like went away after she was rescued from being kidnapped, and she went to Britain and became a police officer there, and then came back, and so she's involved in this serial murder case, and it's very engaging because I didn't really know as much about the South African like apartheid, because it very much shows that there is some very strong stuff still going on there even in present day. And so it's an interesting look on that side of things. How true, I can't really speak to that at all, but it's very interesting at least. And I think there was one other thing I was watching right now. Oh, wasn't anything I was watching. I recently discovered Japanese rock. One OK Rock. One of my new favorite bands, Japanese band. And if you're not familiar with like the Japanese and like the Koreans, they like will mix English and then their native language. And sometimes it doesn't sound great, but sometimes when they do it right, it's amazing. And I've been working out the past couple days to One OK Rock's music off of YouTube, and I'm in love with it. I am definitely going to get some of their stuff, and it's cool. If you're looking for suggestions, The Clock Strikes, or even better is a song called The Beginning by them. So I'm branching out. Who'd have thought? Liege, the connoisseur of foreign music. I don't know. It just works. It works. It reminds me of other stuff I've liked in the past, and so I just like it. That's all I got. That is the roundup. That is the upcomings. That's the over-unders. That's how I did with the over-unders. I love this game. Oh, that's the other thing I was going to say. I'm going to redo the tournament brackets, because you guys were right. You guys don't know what my wife is going to like. You know what? I'm just going to change it all around. Screw it. Screw my old format. I'm going to let you guys have complete control. It's going to be Liege's backers. You guys decide what game goes on to the next round, and we'll see what happens with the next video. I think Space Base kind of killed Lord of the Rings Confrontation in the first one, if I remember the poll on the community page, but I'm just going to do the same thing. And you know what? Let's see how many votes we can get, and we'll see where this goes. So that's it. That's all I know. That's all I got. Stay classy. Have a great night. Have a great day. Hopefully you didn't work the holiday weekend, but if you did, that's okay too. So, okay. Thanks. See you around. This lighting is kind of weird. I look jaundiced still. Blue light, yellow light, white light. I gotta work on that. This is not my area of expertise, in case you wondered. In case there was any wonder. It works. I'm working on it.